Hi, this is Terry. I'm so glad you could join me today. I'm sharing with you today my card that I made for Beyond Basic Backgrounds. I'm going to show you how I made my fun background that I used in my card. So first thing I did was I took a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of white cardstock, and I took my T-ruler, and here I'm making diagonal lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a grid. I used a pencil, and what's really cool is if I made a mistake or when I'm done, I'm going to take and erase it. So pencil's perfect. One of the things I learned while I was doing this, though, I would not stamp directly on the pencil. I had a little bit of trouble erasing it. It worked out in the end. My ink covered everything, but I think next time if I did it again, I would not stamp directly on the pencil. Here in the video now, I'm making my horizontal lines. So I have a really fun grid, so I can make an image that looks random, but it's not necessarily random, which is kind of fun. When I use my Misty Positioner, one of the things I prefer is using the blue painter tape. And I like that better than the magnets because I can get it flatter. The stamps that I used, I have two cute little flower stamps, and I used them from my Altenew stamp set. That was Garden Treasure was the name of the stamp set. And all three stamps that I used today are in the Garden Treasure stamp set. And they're really cute because they're little. Here what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using Versamark ink, which is clear. So when I stamp it down here, when I pull it up, you can't see anything. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a resist thing. I just showed you the embossing powder that I used is white. So I'm going to use that next. And I'm going to pull it up and see what it looks like. And I'm going to put the embossing powder on here, and I'm going to put it into a little coffee filter and then put it back into my container. And I'm going to use my heat gun and heat it up. And what I like to do, my heat gun is pretty old, so what I usually do is I take my heat gun and let it run for a minute or two, and then after I get it warm, I go ahead and put it on there. So first thing I do when I know I'm going to emboss is I use my little sock and get the paper clear. Then I stamp my image. Then I put my embossing powder on. And then after I get my embossing powder on, I get my heat gun going and I get it embossed. That's what I'm doing right now is I'm running my heat gun for a second to get it hot. Now I'm putting it on my card. And then after I get the first image, I'm going to tape it back down and repeat that process about 5 or 6 more times. So I'm going to jump ahead and not actually show you all that, because actually the video was 16 minutes to start with, and that was a little bit long for y'all to follow. But I wanted you to see the first part of the process of how I got the embossing going. And it looks really cool. The white on the white embossing powder looks really cool. You can't really see what is going on because it's kind of clear, but once you get going, it's going to look really good when I got the inks out. I decided that I was going to use my distressed inks, and here I'm erasing my image so I could get my distressed inks out and get ready to do my project. So it'll be really cool when I get going with it here in a minute. I'm really enjoying my classes that I'm taking with Altenew. I've learned so much, and I'm taking notes on a notepad so that I can go back and practice all the different things that I've learned, because there's been so many different things that I've learned. So here we're going to jump ahead, and I'm using 3 colors of ink that are the distressed inks. I'm using orange, and I'm using yellow, and I decided to add a little bit of pink in it. And so I'm using a really fun brush that I ordered off of Amazon that just smooths everything out really good, and it works just perfect. And here I'm using the orange color and just going over it. And you know, I go back and forth, and I have separate brushes for each color. So I'll do one color and then I'll go back in and do the other color. And I'll just keep playing with it and looking at it to see it till I feel like it looks like it's done. so you can get an idea of what the fun image looks like, and it's kind of fun to watch the process. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I hope you have a great day. If you want to see the rest of the way I made my card, please feel free to join me the rest of my tape. Thank you.